Hi guys, Lance here from the Rocky Mountain Life Channel, and today, well not just today, but for many days, we're going to be on a little different adventure. We are on a road trip, the wife and I, to the Pacific Northwest, and right here is near Polson, Montana, as we work our way up to the Pacific Northwest. And I am sure that this little camera does not do justice to this view. In case you're not familiar with where Polson, Montana is, we're just a little south of Kalispell and Whitefish. So you can find that on the map. But boy, talk about an adventure. Snowcapped Mountains in the background. Beautiful water. I bet it's freezing cold. Very beautiful. You watch shows on TV for like lakefront living or something like that. This is the kind of place that I imagine. Spectacular. I'm going to try and bring you guys lots and lots of pretty scenery on this trip. We're having a great time so far. Montana, Big Sky Country, is living up to its name. Part of the Rocky Mountains. There's places like this. I'm actually in Montana right now. I'm south of Kalispell. Oh, a little over an hour. And this is sort of the meltwater off of one of the main glaciers up there. In fact, let me see if I can show this to you. So you got Kalispell, Montana up there. And you've got the Flathead Valley Glacier. And then we are down here. Not quite to Polson. This is where the glacial meltwater channels come off. So there's all kinds of water out there. Big mountains. Wide open spaces. How'd you like to wake up with that in your backyard all the time? This world is full of beautiful places, and this is just one of them. Near Kalispell, Montana. Alright guys, I don't know if you can see it. Glacier National Park. Northwestern Montana.
Too bad it's a little cloudy.
I know. It's good for not squinting, but now they've had a fire come through this area. Oh gosh, it looks like to me it's been over 25 years. A lot of new trees that have grown up, but as we were driving into this area, we passed through a lot of burned off sections.
Yeah.
And this looks like they've had, you can see the spikes.
These are shorter trees.
Yeah, these are all younger ones.
Compared to the ones that we passed that are very, very tall. These are younger trees.
Yeah, I think that's the effect of a big fire that came through. I don't know, I'm just guessing the 25 years based on the height of the trees. So look at this tree. I'm going to try and show it to you if I can, if it'll focus. This is a western larch tree. And they act like deciduous trees. In fact, they might be deciduous trees. I'd have to look it up again or ask my dad. But these things drop their leaves, their needles, in the fall. And in the fall they go bright yellow, look like an aspen tree. And then they look dead all through the winter. And then in the spring they grow these little clumps of these very soft and flexible mint green leaves. And then as they get big, they turn into those. And as the season progresses, the color changes. So when you get into summertime, the color of the leaves actually gets dark and it starts to look like the other pine trees, same color as all the other ones. Well, we live in Colorado and I grew up in the Pacific Northwest, and this is the kind of stuff, you know, different species of trees that grow up in the Pacific Northwest. I don't believe Northwest Montana counts as the Pacific Northwest just yet. But I know my father always said that there's a greater variety of trees and fauna, flowers, grasses, all kinds of things, more variety in this part of the country than there is in Colorado where we live. Even though I love our Rocky Mountains. Ouch, those are prickly. They're sharp. That's sort of a ground cover, sort of piney looking thing. Very sharp needles. And then of course it's springtime here. We've just started getting some things starting to get their leaves as well. But it is beautiful. It is absolutely beautiful. Check that out. Big mountains.
It won't
big.
see how big it is when you're just looking at the phone.
Yeah, the camera
It's
does
so
not
big.
do it justice. I mean, look at this one over here. I mean, you ever want to feel like you're small? Just come and stand underneath something like this. That mountaintop is in the clouds. It is in the clouds. And I'm zoomed in as far as this camera will let me. Look at this. That's a big waterfall. I believe this is called McDonald Falls. Because this water is traveling down the river here and it will actually join up with McDonald Lake. And there's a closer look of McDonald Falls. It's pretty big. If I had to hazard a guess what the width is right there in the middle of the screen, right through here, that's got to be 80 feet. It's definitely big. Very cool. And I bet it's very cold, especially this time of year. Alright guys, so this is Lake McDonald. And let's see. Lake left behind. This is the lake left behind as the glacier came down and melted. This lake here, McDonald Lake, is approximately 500 feet deep. Look, we got a kayaker. That's awesome. Kind of a cloudy, overcast day. I'm not sure how great that's going to help our film footage. But this scenery is spectacular. Big, grand views. And little action cameras probably not going to do them justice. This is inside Glacier National Park. McDonald Lake. So with the way the weather is today, with it being cloudy, it's really going to be hard to make it show up nice. This is some of that glacial meltwater that runs off the tops of the mountains and the glaciers, and then just the general snow melt, of course, in the spring here. Works its way down, turns into these little rapids down here with this channel. Look at that.
How strong that is.
Yeah. There are people who like to kayak over things like that. I think I would be too scared to kayak.
I'll be scared. It's so narrow.
It's beautiful to look at, though. I bet it is absolutely bitterly cold. So this is another part of Glacier National Park. And the views just go on and on. Snow-capped mountains, big snow-capped mountains. Big, steep snow-capped mountains. So we're out going for a little walk here in Glacier National Park. Just wandering through a meadow out here towards these mountains. I hope you can see them. I mean, they just go forever. There's a big one back out that way with a big mountain peak that goes up into the clouds even. Spectacular stuff. One thing we've learned though about being out here at Glacier in mid-May is this is not really the best time to come to Glacier National Park. A lot of it's not open yet. Some of the road is not open because of snow, and they haven't got everything fully up and running. They haven't started staffing everything yet, and I don't know if that has to do with the time of year, if that has to do with COVID, but one of the visitor centers that we stopped at earlier today is actually still closed. So I think maybe June is going to be a better time for catching everything. Look, there's houses over there. Can you imagine living in this valley and waking up to this every day? That's pretty crazy. But yeah, I think June or thereafter is going to be a better time to probably come up here for the sake of having access to everything. One thing that we've noticed walking through this meadow, whole lot of elk droppings. I felt all along that this would be a great place for elk to winter, and it looks, based on all these piles of elk droppings, that is exactly what they are doing. All right, guys, back in the car, and we are leaving Glacier National Park behind. But it was beautiful. Definitely worth a return trip a little bit later in the year when the weather's a little bit better and the full road, they call it the Road to the Sun. I think it's called the Road to the Sun Road. And that's the main road that cuts through the middle of the park. Everything else is mostly hiking trails for the most part, which is great, but not everything is open right now. And our weather today was a little bit less than ideal for some of those things. We actually got rained on a few times throughout the day. But right now, here in the late afternoon, we've got the sun out and we are driving our way back out. Hope you enjoyed this little trip through Glacier National Park. And there's going to be more adventures coming up because our trip is not even half over. We got lots more places to go and lots more things to see.